What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I have special guests with me right now, and those special guests are my Metallica bodyguards. And so why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Manny. I'm Armando.
There you go, Manny and Armando. Manuel, whatever you guys decide to go by.
Dylan's friend.
They're my friends, and we are bringing you guys the Doctor Strange review, the movie that we just saw, that we've all been waiting months upon, almost years, just waiting for this movie to come out, and we finally got to see it tonight. The first showing in our town, IMAX 3D. We watched it, and we're gonna get our thoughts. So honestly, we'll just jump straight into it. I'm not even gonna start with me. That's how crazy tonight is. Number one, I'm not wearing a hat, and I usually wear hats in my videos, so be prepared for all the hair comments that are coming along their way. This is a no hat zone. We'll start off with the good things that we thought of the movie.
Sure.
So Manny, why don't you say the stuff that you liked about the movie? Anything.
It was pretty visually appealing. I liked it a lot. Blew my mind.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
It was pretty great.
Yeah,
it was pretty great.
The special effects were crazy. I said that too, like when we were leaving the theater, I said how I don't think the movie could have been made like back in 2009, 2010 because of the visual effects. I don't think that like the studio or any person would have put that much money into a Doctor Strange film because who the hell knew who Doctor Strange was, and like just how like trippy and mind-bending Doctor Strange is as a character.
Once you watch it, like you'll understand like how much time they really put into like working all those special effects into like how it really does affect your mind and how how you see things in it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like just how trippy it all is. The different colors that they use, like just the different like visual effects that they experiment with is honestly crazy. Yeah. I definitely think that it is a movie worth seeing in IMAX 3D. I don't really remember too many 3D things about it, like anything that came out at the screen. I think no matter what, I would see this in IMAX for just like the brighter, bigger, like more intense screen. The 3D, I just don't feel like it was utilized that much.
If anything, the previews had more 3D than the actual movie.
Seriously. Literally. So I would have honestly probably liked it more if I didn't have to wear the big clunky glasses with it. But no, it was like
great.
Let's just start off. Yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. I loved the movie. Of course, I knew I was going to. If you guys have been following my channel at all, you've seen that I reviewed the first trailer that came out. I reacted to and reviewed the second trailer that came out in this shirt, by the way. So paying homage back in time. That was straight nipple. And now the movie finally came. It's crazy just how quickly November came. That's a whole other thing. But like, dude, because we've been through 2 other Marvel movies this year. We had Deadpool, Civil War, X-Men Apocalypse. That was it, right? Now, then Suicide Squad was in August, but that's not Marvel. And then now we're on to Doctor Strange, and I would have been surprised if I didn't like it. Yeah. I'm kind of at that point now to where I may not seem as like insanely hyped up or energetic as you might think I am. Believe me, I am. I think we all are.
It was great,
but like with this being like Marvel's 13th or 14th movie, you just we've been able to expect the greatness now. Yeah. Like you don't go to a Marvel movie being like, I hope this is good.
You go with high hopes.
You go to a Marvel movie wondering, I wonder how good is this one gonna be? How good is this one gonna be? Because you know it's gonna be great. You just want to know how good compared to the others it's going to be. And we were talking about like comparing the other solo movies, because this is the first Marvel solo character movie that we've gotten with an introduction since Ant-Man. And so we've compared like, okay, where does this stand with Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange? We still haven't gotten the Black Panther. We didn't really get solo movies for Falcon or Winter Soldier or Scarlet Witch or anything. But the solo characters, this honestly probably has to be my favorite, if not one of my favorites, right there with the first Iron Man. I really think so. I think the character development of Strange was awesome.
It was definitely spot on. Like if you know anything from the comics, like it was very, very spot on.
Perfect pacing too.
Yeah, no, it really was.
And nothing was rushed with like the development of the character or anything, and it was a really good flow throughout the entire movie.
No, definitely. And I know it got the runtime got, I don't know if you would say leaked. It just got let out purposely before the movie came out, and this is Marvel's like all-time shortest movie, or I wouldn't say all time. Yeah, Marvel's shortest movie so far, and I was fine with it. I think it was
even then, like you said, like it flowed very well. Like it did like You can tell it was shorter, but like it just
it felt very routine,
natural,
like
appropriate.
like they knew that like it didn't feel like anything was missing, as opposed to the DC movies that came out this year, like with Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. I feel like there were very obvious things that felt like they were missing. And so with this movie, it felt very complete. It felt finished. So, I mean, jump into you, Armando. Give us some of like your big takeaways from the movie. Like, what were some of your favorite things?
Some of like honestly, like this is arguably one of my favorite Marvel movies now. Like,
I would agree. Like, it really was fantastic.
Like I said, like if you follow the comics of Doctor Strange, like it's like among few things, like it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a really good point though too. Is like comparing a lot of other Marvel movies to their storyline. Like Captain America: Civil War is my all-time favorite comic book movie. But if you compare the Civil War movie to the Civil War comics, those are two completely different things. Two completely different things, and you could say that about most comic book movies, really, which is not which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like saying anything negative about that, because I do believe that when you make the transition from comic book to film, there are some things that need to change. Absolutely. And so I completely agree with that. But this was crazy how close to the comic book it was. I mean, seeing things like the Cloak of Levitation, the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York. Like, I think the biggest change was probably the Ancient One and how she was like a white old lady instead of like an old Chinese man. So that was a big change. But it was just crazy seeing how literally almost all of this stuff was ripped right out of a comic book page. There was even like some of the Dark Dimension, all that stuff, that was literally taken from a Doctor Strange comic book page, and they made it into the movie.
That was pretty cool.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I mean, other than that, one thing that I was kind of worried about was how they were going to fit Doctor Strange and his story into this huge universe that they've created now, because you know that while Doctor Strange is going on as well, there's also these huge storylines going on with the Avengers that's going on, like with the Guardians of the Galaxy in space, with Thanos kind of looking over everything, kind of being the puppet master. And so you got to ask yourself, where does Doctor Strange fall in line? Like, how is his story going to play out in the midst of this whole crazy connected universe that's going on now? And I think it fell in line perfectly. One thing that I didn't even pick up on, I'll let you explain, but there was even like a roadie Easter egg you're saying about? Yeah, what was up with that? So
while Doctor Strange was like driving through the hills right before his accident, he was getting these like options to take in certain patients, and so whoever was talking to him about the patient, he mentions a 35-year-old military weapon experiment paralyzed from the waist down. Like, they didn't catch that, but like we got here earlier to his house, and I was like, "Did you guys catch that?" Like it mentioned, like so that had to happen right after Civil War.
So that means that like the Doctor Strange's story, and I think that someone leaked this before, but I didn't know this for sure, but his story is going on at the exact same time as Civil War. And so that explains, number one, why like I guess he wouldn't be in Civil War, or why like he wouldn't really know about like the Avengers like fighting each other and everything, because and I don't really know if this is spoiler. It's not really spoiler territory, is it?
The War's on DVD, so if
you're welcome to watch it.
If you haven't seen Civil War, so
go watch it.
A spoiler alert: Rhodey gets hurt in Civil War, and so but it was kind of cool that I honestly, if you would have brought that up, I don't think I ever would have noticed that. Even in like my second or third time seeing it or anything like that, I don't think I would have noticed that. And that's so cool that they put that in there, because that's like them tying the movies together, but in a different kind of way. Like,
because even if Doctor Strange doesn't know who he is, like he's probably gonna like obviously meet him eventually. And if he does think back on it, he'll remember that, oh, this is the patient that I could have taken right before that accident.
And I mean, we're not gonna say anything because this is non-spoiler. We're not gonna say anything, but there are some very, very in-your-face tie-ins with other characters in this movie. But they do it very well. They make Doctor Strange feel so different. Like when you're watching this movie, it makes you feel like the other, like Avengers don't exist. They make you feel like it's literally like just Doctor Strange. And I love that. I love how like in this whole huge universe like we're talking about, we can still get a solo movie like this and it feels so on its own. It's a very independent, amazing superhero movie. Like this film could have been made without the Avengers ever existing, and nothing would change about this movie. Maybe like a couple words would change, but nothing would change about this movie.
Even like when you go back to like the first Iron Man, the first Captain America, the first Thor, like you know that these are part of the Avengers, and like even though things like certain things aren't mentioned in the movies, like you know it still has to do with the Avengers. But like with Doctor Strange, it's completely on its own, and it's perfect that way.
Yeah,
it's independent.
One thing that I'm really excited to see is Doctor Strange's relationship to Tony Stark and how they get along.
I know how similar they are.
Dude, their banter back and forth because Tony Stark and Stephen Strange are very similar, dude. They are like almost the same person.
Yeah, but you're right because like to a degree, like when you go back to Tony Stark, like he still has his little but like extremely prideful moments.
Yeah.
But like as far as Doctor Strange, like towards the movie, he does develop away from it. And like you said, he does become a better person.
So both of these characters, Tony especially has gone through a lot of character development in the MCU so far, as like comparing him to how he was in the beginning of Iron Man. It's crazy. And but I mean, dude, in one movie, if we're just comparing one movie, I think that Doctor Strange has the biggest character arc in one movie. Like not even the biggest, but like the most improved. Like we're gonna award Doctor Strange the most improved trophy for like beginning to end of the movie on on just his personality and the character that he is.
Yeah, because you're right. Because like even like towards the beginning, like he does exchange some words with Rachel McAdams after his accident. Just kind of like whoa. Like towards the end, like towards the end, it's kind of heartbreaking between them. So it's like he does. I think I would agree. He does receive the most improved award for MCU.
No. Another thing, like another big thing that I wanted to talk about, there was one moment in the film where I felt like the acting really shined because you had amazing talent in this movie.
Absolutely.
You had Tilda Swinton, you had Mads Mikkelsen, you had Benedict Cumberbatch, you had Chiwetel Ejiofor. I probably murdered the hell out of that name, but you know who I'm talking about. But like, Rachel McAdams, like you had a lot of talent in this, but there's one specific scene between Mordo and Doctor Strange, and that's Benedict Cumberbatch and Chiwetel Ejiofor. There's one specific scene about halfway throughout the movie where they go at it between each other. Do you guys remember that scene? This is nothing spoilery, but they're yelling at each other in the Sanctum Sanctorum, and they're yelling at each other. I could not believe for a second there. It was a very well acted scene. It did not feel like something you'd see in a Marvel movie where they were yelling at each other, and they were yelling at each other from a very emotional and real point, because what was happening is you were getting a conflict of beliefs, a different conflict of beliefs between each other on how things should be dealt with, and it was like emotion in this scene of them just yelling at each other, and it was fantastic. Like I said, it completely made me forget that I was watching a Marvel movie. And I had to give credit where credit was due. I mean, like, bravo to whoever, everyone in the team who made that
wrote
scene
that
possible.
Scene.
Fantastic. From the acting to the writing to that was great. But for whatever reason, that stuck out to me throughout the movie.
And that's something else too. Like, if you really go through and start from the first Marvel movies to now, they've done a very progressive and good job of getting more and more powerful emotional scenes like that.
Yeah, no,
and this definitely was a very powerful and emotional scene.
Yeah, no, seriously, and I think because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is getting to a darker place. It's going to a very dark place. Really dark. And so when we're gonna compare the first Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America days, all of a sudden we're getting to the Civil War. There was a lot of heavy weight on Civil War, introducing the real idea of you're killing people while doing this, and Age of Ultron was even real, watching the whole city of Sokovia and all the families there. Now you're seeing Doctor Strange was even real. Lord knows what's gonna happen in Infinity War, and
oh man, dude.
we know
probably gonna cry during the movie.
Seriously, even the new Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer is heavy, except for the very end with Drax and Star-Lord. The beginning of it is feels dark. It doesn't feel like the happy-go-lucky Guardians of the Galaxy.
I feel that trailer, it went straight into whatever they're facing, and obviously it doesn't show up, but you can tell they're doing something
something
really
crazy. And one thing I think the last big thing that I wanted to talk about before we give our last impressions and overall score individually is the villain, because one thing that Marvel gets slapped for a lot is their villains, and rightfully so. Believe me, I love Marvel all day. I'm a fanboy as hell. I know this, but I will admit, of course, because I'm honest, their villains suck most of the time. Their villains are bland, and they don't really have anything connected to them. DC villains have always been better. I love DC. let's not even get into what's going on with them right now. But I want to talk about the villain. So Manny, what'd you think about the villain in Doctor Strange?
He was very mysterious in the beginning.
He was.
He was pretty gruesome too. I mean, did you see that? He got
no, yeah, definitely. I think for a while his character was kept very mysterious.
Yeah.
You didn't know. You knew that he was like this ominous kind of like brooding force in the background, but there were a lot of questions unanswered throughout the duration of the movie. Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing though, I gotta say, again, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel that we got hit with another problem. It was another throwaway villain for me. I really do think so. The villain, you're not gonna remember this villain. I can't even remember the name. It's not. He didn't have a name. I don't remember. This is definitely not a Loki. This is not an Ultron. This is not anything like that. The villain was a throwaway villain, especially for other reasons that I don't want to say, that were like he was overshadowed, but he was definitely a throwaway villain. I'm not gonna ever remember this guy. Like he served his purpose, I guess, in like the Doctor Strange story. He was a fine first villain, but again, it's just like whatever. But like, do you agree? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Like he's very shadowy like throughout the entire movie, and like it's like we said, he starts off with a very dark complexion, like just to start off the movie. But like it's like you said, like throughout the entire movie, just a very mysterious character, and we don't know a lot other than like what he did in the beginning, and that's it. It could have been so much more darker and powerful.
Yeah.
But it was very. I mean, the scene where he came up was like it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But just the way like they let him through the movie, it was like they let us on for no reason.
I mean, it's already been confirmed. Doctor Strange is coming to the MCU, or he's in it, but he will be in Infinity War.
He's key.
He's key. He's gonna meet up with the other characters. I am very excited to see what happens, like his relationship with Thanos. That's gonna be very interesting because now we have so many different people at play. We have people who have their powers based on technology. They have people who based on their powers through science, through magic now, through like all this like psychedelic stuff. We have the space Avengers with Guardians of the Galaxy. So so what I'll do right now is I'll just get our final thoughts so we can end this and it won't be so terribly long. But so Manny, final thoughts on the movie and then your score on it.
Overall, great movie, pretty memorable. A lot of quotes you can remember.
There were a lot of
good quotes.
A lot of one-liners, a lot of funny things that happened throughout
Mr. Wong with Beyonce.
Mr. Wong.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Wong.
Or Wong, whatever.
I call him Dr. Wong.
Dr. Wong. Mini Dr. Wong.
Dr. Manuel. But overall, memorable movie. Pretty visually appealing to the eye. Overall, you need to see it in 3D. I mean, if you're into the technology, if you want to be impressed, go for 3D. But I think it'll be fine IMAX alone.
Sure.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's my favorite Marvel movie.
There you go.
Overall, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's wow.
Said it himself.
Yeah, he said himself his new favorite Marvel movie.
Favorite.
Doctor Strange.
For me, honestly, like I said, it is definitely up there as one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Sure. Yeah.
For me, like solo-wise, it's probably tied with the first Iron Man for me, like the first character. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Like I said in the beginning, though, I expected that, which someone could look at as a good or bad thing. I think it's a great thing. There were many things that even exceeded my expectations in the movie. Please, if you're watching this, you're obviously interested in it enough, just go see it. Or if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it and you've watched it, I'm gonna go see it again.
Yep.
So like, why not you two? But for me, loved it. If my whole grading scale, I'm gonna give it a platinum medal. That's a 4 out of 5 for me. I've only ever given one diamond out, and that was to Deadpool. This is pretty damn close. I think it's a pretty good movie.
I'm
gonna stick with platinum rating for me. But so, what's your final thoughts and final score?
For me, like it was really great. Like Manny said, it was very pleasing to the eye. There's a lot of things that really trips you out. And like, it's not that it's a hard movie to keep up with, but like while these certain scenes are happening, it's hard to keep up with. Like, you want to see everything that's surrounding him while these certain things are happening.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
It's a lot to keep up with, a lot going on. But like, it's cool, you know.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Like you said, arguably one of the best solo movies to date. Definitely up there with Iron Man. But as far as like just Marvel movies in general, like Civil War is definitely my favorite one so far. And it's up there with Civil War. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, trust me. I couldn't imagine what Civil War would be like if Strange was in there.
Yeah, but overall, like,
out
of 10, I'd give it a 9.
Yeah.
And it was pretty great.
Dude, there you go. 10. Another Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting
cool.
because those are both kind of like the magic, because they both draw power and vision. All three of those people have drawn powers from an Infinity Stone, so that's really cool.
Interesting to see.
But yeah, guys, honestly, that's where I'm gonna end the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the thumb button down below, the thumbs up button that is. There's 2 of them, but I hope you go
this one.
Hope you go for this one. And then while you're at it, click that red subscribe button. If this seemed like something that floats your boat, you can check out my other videos and see if you like what you see on those. Where can they find you guys after this video?
Twitter, Trivia Day Manuel.
Yeah, find him on Twitter. What's your @name?
@Manny_PIV.
Yep, there you go. Okay, he does daily trivia. Fantastic. Believe me, you're going to want to follow him. And then where can they find you? Because I know you have a channel on YouTube as well.
Yes, you can just find me under my regular name, Armando Carlos. Do guitar covers. Also Instagram, I guess, if you want, Metal Mondo, or just my regular name.
Honestly, if you guys have any interest in guitars at all, I would check him out. This guy is crazy on guitar.
Insane.
So if you have any interest in covers or just like guitars in general, be sure to check him out.
Feel free to ask questions as well. I mean,
yeah, definitely. He's a crazy guy on the guitar. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.